This is the trade that I have taken yesterday and it already hit take profit, and this is the trade that we're taking right now. Now before you click off this video, because I have a low risk to reward, I want to make a bet with you, and if I'm losing that bet, never return back to my channel. But you will lose this bet because I have a 95% win rate and I will most likely win. And I'm not just talking about random things, cherry picked setups or trades that I haven't even taken myself. You can see I'm posting every single signal in my Discord and you can follow them along and see that they actually take profit. So safe to say I'm not one of your typical gurus on YouTube trying to preach some random strategy that doesn't even work. I have got payouts over payouts over payouts, which has got me to an all-time reward of over $6,000. But that is still not the full story, because I'm funded with multiple prop firms where I managed over 500k in total funding. But if I'm being honest with you, this is not the entire truth, because with funding pips alone, my all-time rewards have already increased. Now, and a lot of people like to say that prop firm payouts can be faked, and yes they can. If your Photoshop skills allow that, then you can actually fake them. It's an interview being posted on the official Funding Pips YouTube channel. But how does my strategy even work to begin with? Before that, we need to talk about what the typical gurus on YouTube actually do. They give you a specific day, a specific time of the day that you need to trade and hook you on that time and that time only. Now, although that sounds great, but that actually makes the things way more complicated, because now you're tied on a specific time of the day. And if you miss the setups during that specific time, then you basically lost the entire opportunity to take the trade and you're lost. But what we do is completely different. We focus on having a high win rate. Now, just as a quick example, why whatever I do is way different from any type of guru on YouTube you have ever seen before. As I've told you, they hook you on a specific time of a specific day and you need to trade during that time. But in reality, that does not work, because 5 years ago, when I was not trading full time, I had a job and I had to juggle a job while also trying to learn trading, and we all know that doesn't work. Now, I'll explain to you how the strategy works, but before that we need to understand a couple of different things. Now, this was me 5 years ago and I thought that indicators are the holy grail, but I also had a job and I was trying to learn trading. Now, the problem here is that if we are trying to learn trading, we need time. Now, our job is taking the time. So the first logical answer would be you have to quit your job. So now you have the time and now you can trade. But that doesn't work. If I quit my job, then I have time, but I have no money. And without money, trading doesn't work. You need money in order to start trading. Yes, you can start on a demo account, but you need to get into the live price action, because only that way you will learn. So once again, I don't hook you on a specific time of the day. I want you to be able to be free. You can trade the strategy at any given moment. You can trade it anywhere, as you can see. As long as you have identified the right drawn liquidity, you can take a trade into this drawn liquidity and that's it. And it's literally that simple, but it requires you to be okay having a very big stop loss. Now, a lot of people say when you lose, basically you wipe out a lot of different trades and your entire account is blown. Now, once again, that is wrong. To be very clear with you, we are winning every single day. We rarely have days where we are taking a loss, not even speaking about a month. We don't even have losing months because we win every single day. Now, let me be very clear. Most of you are trading a 142, a 143, 144, and you are trying to be profitable with this. But let's all be honest, this does not work, because you cannot have a high risk reward and also a high winning rate. That does not work. Now, if you're saying that you have a 143 risk reward and also 80% win rate. Now, since I'm a real one, I want to be transparent with you. I don't want to tell you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you need to hear. You are not profitable with this. The entire trades where your take profit has hit and you're sending it into a Discord, maybe to your friends or whatever, either you have taken that on a demo account, on a challenge prop firm account, or you have not taken the entire trade at all. And the last option is you have taken the trade, it hit take profit, but you don't show the entire other 10 losses that you have taken in order to catch this trade. So once again, we focus on having a high win rate and focus on quality, not quantity. Now, to quickly demonstrate it to you, we have not taken a single loss in over 3 months, and that is only possible because we have that high of a win rate. Now, if we just go back, the entire winning streak started from this month. We skip forward, all green days, skip forward, all green days, skip forward, all green days so far, and this month is most likely also going to be just green days, because we are staying professional, consistent, and focused on quality over quantity. You cannot have all of the upsides without having the downsides. If you are going for a high risk reward, you will have to be okay with losing 10 times in a row. With this way of trading, having a low risk reward, you will not lose 10 times in a row. It's basically impossible. Now the reason why it's basically impossible is I want to quickly introduce you to my favorite table. If you have a 95% win rate, the chances of losing 10 times in a row are 0.0000, and then eventually you're getting to the 9.8. To put that into a different perspective, flipping a coin and getting heads 36 times in a row is 1 in 68 billion. Now guess what? Losing 10 times in a row with a 95% win rate strategy is still less likely. Winning the Powerball jackpot twice in your lifetime, each 1 in 292 million, this number is still less likely. You are not going to lose 10 times in a row with this win rate. Now of course you cannot just take a random trade and expect that to be a win. There's different kinds of market phases. The market has uptrends, downtrends, and also consolidation phases. Now I have multiple models, but they all specify on trading consolidation. As you can see, I want you to focus on this little bit of price action. This is ideal for our way of trading, and I'll quickly explain to you why that is the case. Most of y'all are trying to trade downtrends or uptrends, basically trading markets as a whole. Now why is that a problem? Because the market is very unpredictable. Although a lot of the times the market does the same things every single day, there are still nuances that you cannot account for, and you're trying to predict time and also price. Basically what you're trying to do, because you love volatility, you're basically holding an AK-47 with one hand, and then you're wondering why you're not able to control the spray, because it's not possible. And even if you're right on one trade and catching a 142, you will not be able to do this consistently, because it's very hard to know when the market is about to trend and so on. Even if you're able to predict when the market is going to trend, it is still hard, because this might as well just be an uptrend and you're lost. Now, and this is a very common thing that you will see amongst high risk reward traders, and also you, if you have spotted yourself taking these kinds of trades, basically trying to predict the market, also the time and the price, you basically ended up losing. You were right on the entire direction, it hit your take profit, but before that you got stopped out once again because you are trying to predict time and also price. Now I want you to focus on this entire price action. You can see it is very chill. Imagine this, you're waking up, starting TradingView, and you know you're going to win that day because the win rate is so high. Matter of fact, you can take a random position onto the chart and it will most likely be a take profit hit as long as your stop loss is wide enough. Now most of you guys, you're not giving the trade enough room to play out. The market is very unpredictable. So in an unpredictable market, you have to give it a little bit of more room. Now this is basically representing an entire chart. This is the time aspect and this is price. You're trying to predict both time and price. But what we do, we only focus on price because you cannot expect to be right every single time when the entire move is going to happen. But if you're taking a proven system that has shown results over months and years, been back tested by myself, then you know that the trade will hit take profit. Now look, it's not about being right every single time. You need to be able to also take the losses. As you can see, we have a lot of different trades and not all of them are going to be wins. You will eventually encounter a loss here and there, but that is no problem because since your win rate is so high in this way of trading, you will make all of the losses back. Now to quickly put that into a perspective, as you can see, we have 95 wins, 5 losses, risk 1%. This is an entire 100k account and we have made almost 24%, although we have still taken 5 losses in this entire period. Since we have made so many wins, it literally doesn't matter. Now as I have previously said, the market does the same thing every single day, but every single trading day is still unique because in every single situation there will be something a little bit different, so every single day is unique by itself. You will only be able to find an edge in the market if you have something proven over months, years in advance. And since the market does the same things over and over again, but every single day is unique, you need to have something that happens over and over again. And also you need to implement key rules because that is the only way holding you back on taking bad trades as a whole. Now first of all, you can copy just my trades. Now these are my personal rules. You're not going to trade NFP days. And the second thing, first 3 days of the month is also not going to be a trade. Now why is that? Because most of the time you will likely end up in a losing trade. I've seen it myself. I have backtested over years in advance, so you don't have to do it. And I know that on those days it is way more likely that I will encounter a loss, and we focus on quality over quantity. The next thing is also no bank holidays. once again, you will most likely end up losing. Now, of course, only the best trading days and no modifications on the trade. What does that mean? Once the stop loss has been set, you don't modify it, you leave it as it is. Once the take profit has been set, you don't modify it, you leave it as it is. We don't do anything complicated in this way of trading. We only have key rules that we like to look out for, and that is it. Now, to quickly mention to you, the second rule aligns perfectly with the first one, because most of the times the 3 days of the month are actually NFP days. You have been suggested a lot of different videos on YouTube about some kind of random trading strategy, and if you're still watching, then this is actually it. You have finally found the last video that you need in order to be profitable, because this channel is 100% transparent, and I'll show you every single proof that you will be asking me. Now, but first of all, you have been brainwashed by the entire industry. As you can see, steal this insane simple 90% win rate strategy, 1 for 20 RR. This obviously does not work. Now, although the thumbnail is pretty funny and I can't even take it serious, it is actually pretty bad for the industry and every single trader that is just beginning trading, because now he has the wrong perception of trading and he thinks that this is actually what we need to do in trading, until he realizes that this doesn't work and there's only two options from here on. The first option is he quits trading, because after being frustrated all of these different strategies that don't even work to begin with, you just think that trading is a scam all along. Now, whether or not these strategies work, what you are currently doing is strategy hopping. Basically, see trading as a business. When you're starting a new trading strategy, you have a little bit of upsides, maybe some downsides, you're quickly not seeing the progress that you would like to see, and you're starting all from the bottom again. Now, with the new strategy, you have to adapt to it, starting all the way from the bottom, and you don't see the progress that you would like to see, starting once again, and that continues on and on. But the guy who consistently shows up, he will surely also have ups and downs, but sticking to one thing is the single most important thing. Now, I'm a big fan of sticking to one thing, one price action, one pattern, one pair, whatever it is. But once you have mastered the entire model, it is time to invent a new one and quickly move on and keep on improving. But before that, most quit trading, as we have already talked about. And this guy is basically you. The guy who does not dig one more time is losing out on the diamonds. But the guy who just keeps on forgetting all of the different noise in this industry, he just keeps on going for the diamonds and he will eventually find it. Now, you might be asking, how does your strategy work to begin with? And it is very simple. I like to look out for easy draws on liquidity where I know the price is going to go next. Now, how do I know that? It's because the regular Joe Schmo thinks that these relative equal highs, so basically this high and also this high, is resistance and we're going to trade into it and then lower. But that is completely not the case. The regular Joe Schmo has a stop loss right above or even just at these specific highs, trying to trade it lower, but this doesn't work. We're doing the exact opposite. So basically, after this high, you have identified the relative equal highs correct. Now you can take a trade all the way onto the upside with a fairly big stop loss, because once again, you want to give the trade room. If you're not giving the trade room, the strategy will not work. Now, I have previously mentioned to you what the regular Joe Schmo is doing. Everybody who is watching that, besides the ones that already know me, I want to quickly give you a message. Basically, you're doing what every single other guy in the trading space is doing. And you have seen this so many times. You got stopped out, but it hit your take profit afterwards. And yes, if you're wondering, the market maker is actually going for your stop losses. This is not just a random occurrence, because the market loves to take your liquidity. So instead of trading against the market maker that is basically keeping on getting your liquidity, you need to do the exact opposite. You need to trade into the liquidity with the market maker. The market maker is not your enemy, it should be your friend. Now guys, you can have the best strategy, the best risk management, and also be a master at psychology, but every professional trader needs a professional journal. That's why I personally use TradeLens. Now, if you want a 10% discount, it's the second link in the description. And once again, that is because all of the different bullshit gurus that are teaching you strategies that don't even work to begin with. Now, to put that quickly into perspective, if this kind of video and his strategy that he's teaching in this video would be true, then I would quickly like to introduce you to the reality of things. If you are starting with a 1K balance and you're trading for 2 months, taking 16 wins, you will quickly scale the entire account to 1 million. Do that once again and you'll become a billionaire. If you do that one more time, you'll become this guy. Now, who's that guy? It is Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa is the richest man that has ever lived on planet Earth. And if you do that one more time, you'll become this guy. So it simply doesn't work. But the next thing is also, people like to say trading is a probabilities game. Now I can agree with that, and I also get the entire reference behind that argument, but it is simply not true. Trading is not the same as flipping a coin. Now a coin has two sides that it can land on. And yes, there's also a third one, but don't be a nerd. So the main argument here is it's a 50-50 chance, and the same applies to trading because it can only go up and down. And that is simply not the case because we have previously talked about market phases. If you're taking shorts in an uptrend, what do you think is more likely going to happen? You will take losses. If you're taking longs in downtrends, you'll most likely take losses. So it's not a 50-50. But if you're trading in consolidation phases where you can take a trade basically at any given direction with my specific approach, so a low risk reward, then you will most likely win anyways. It doesn't matter which direction you will take, the trade will still end up in a take profit. Now in the beginning of this video, I've shown you two trades. One trade that I've already taken and the other one that is still ongoing, and it will hit take profit. I want you to check it out after this video yourself, and you will see that we hit the take profit. But I would like to quickly introduce you what you're getting yourself into, because let me be very clear about this one. Now, winning every single day sounds great, but here's the reality. You also have to be okay with being in a drawdown for a little bit of time. Now, this entire trade equals to exactly 22 hours. Now, if 22 hours is too much to you, then I'm sorry and I cannot help you, because I'm already giving a 95% win rate strategy that has been proven, and it works because I'm able to use it consistently in the markets. And if that is still too much time for you to be in a trade, then I can help you. Now there's a very simple way in order to conquer your entire psychology aspect of trading. Now as you can see, currently we are in a little bit of drawdown. Of course, compared to the entire stop loss that we're having, that is just very little. But still, I have a very easy approach that you can just copy and master the psychology part of trading. To conquer your entire psychology aspect of trading is to look into your journal. Every time I'm starting to doubt my entire strategy, approach of trading, whatever it is, I go back into my journal, or I may even backtest. When I look at my journal, because I've backtested it and forward tested and live traded it, I know that the results are actually real. And if you have backtested properly, then this is basically your proof of concept. You know that your strategy works. And if you're not doing exactly what you're doing in your backtesting sessions, then this will not work. Now, in a very big argument and misconception is that when I'm taking a loss, my entire account is wiped away. Once again, that is not true, and I'll quickly explain to you why. I'm risking the same amount as someone with a 1 for 2, 3, 4, 5, or let it even be 10, which is 1%. And the next argument is also, when you're losing, you're basically losing 5 trades worth of progress because you go for 1 for 0.2. So on a 100k account, we're basically risking 1k to gain 200 bucks. But that is once again also not the case. Yes, 5 trades are actually 1k, which is the entire amount that we're risking. But after we have taken the initial loss, we don't just go for 0.2, we go for 0.5 this time for 2 trades. And after that has been accomplished, we go back onto trading the 0.2 until we take another loss. It's simple as that. So you see, the entire account is not blown after taking a single loss. You have to be professional, stay consistent, and actually tell what the date and actually do what the data is telling you, and not be confused by the market conditions because you have already identified the market conditions correctly if you have actually done the work. Because you can't just open TradingView and take a random position and expect that to be a win. You need an entire framework to build in order to be profitable. One concept is usually not enough. Now once again, the market has multiple phases. I only focus on the consolidation phase, and I specialize on that. I'm a master at trading the consolidation phases because I don't care what your typical Joe Schmo is doing. Now a lot of people hate this kind of price action because they say, well, it's choppy and I cannot trade this and this and that. This is actually the most chill thing you can ever go for. It just goes up and down, and no matter where you're going to take a trade, with a low risk reward, of course, you're going to get a win. What you're trying to do is basically focusing on the outcome. You need to be outcome independent. When I take a trade, I don't care if it's going to be a take profit or a stop loss. Why? Because I know at the end of the day, after a series of trades, and even if this specific trade is going to be a loss, I know that I will make all of the money back because my system works and I know that I'm profitable. That is basically having an edge in the market. Now, how do you find edge to begin with? You need chart experience. I already have gathered that entire chart experience, so you don't need to create an entire strategy, framework, concept, whatever it is yourself. You can just copy me. Now I want to quickly show it into a different perspective. Even though I'm giving you my strategy and you can just copy me, I want you to still put in the work. Person A is observing the charts, backtesting journal. Person B has only an average of 1 hour, plays games, occasionally looks at the chart, doesn't take it serious. Person B is going to basically have 360 hours that he has backtested, spent time of trading all along. Person A has more than 1k hours of chart experience. So which one is more likely to be profitable? Of course it's person A. Why does that matter? Because you need to train your eyes into seeing these kinds of patterns. Now, and once again, this is not just fluff. This is also not cherry-picked trades that I'm drawing out randomly on a chart. We have actually taken the trades along with the entire mentorship and even with the non-paid users of my Discord, and you can see we're clearly making money in here because it's easy, it's simple, you can trade at any given moment, and it's profitable. That is the only thing that matters in trading. You need to be profitable. You have made it this far into the video, and let me be very clear about this one. You can go two paths in trading. Either you're taking the path that I had to take, which led me to countless of profit challenges being blown, and also personal accounts that I have lost. The list goes on. Or you can also take the shortcut, being mentored by somebody who has 5 years of experience, more than 500k in total funding, and also multiple prop firms. Now, I have been interviewed by prop firms where I basically explain how I have gotten to all of those payouts. When you're trading for this long, your win rate is extremely high. That's why we barely get into any kind of drawdown. Now, and this is not just a regular mentorship, you will get access to everything I have learned over the past 5 years of experience. So if you want to learn how to get the same results, it's the first link in the description.